Okay, y'all. Facebook playing around with me. I don't want to be able to go live today up here, y'all. Hold on. I'm like, surely. I've said something. I've said something that they didn't quite like. I don't know. But they locked my account. It's like first time I've ever seen this particular thing pop up. And I actually didn't realize it till a few minutes ago when I was trying to get up here live, and then I checked my messages, and my cousin said, "Hey cousin, you in Facebook jail?" So I was trying to figure out like what is going on with my account. So I figured it out. Then when I got up there, after a little bit playing with it on my phone, this message pops up while I was trying to get into it, and it was saying you've been locked out of your account. Not locked out of your account, but we've locked your account. Because we need to verify your identity and stuff. I'm like, okay, because ain't nobody ever figuring out our password, right? So I'm just like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It said they did it for their purposes to make sure our account wasn't hacked. Could be a new thing. I don't know. I've never seen it in all my years of being on Facebook. Even when I forgot my password and locked myself out my account, it's like a totally different. It's a totally different thing, And it could be because everything that's going on with Facebook and them coming under changing their parent company's name, and I don't know. But anyway, I'm here. For a second, I was just about. I held off for a few more minutes, so I figured it out. Then I was just gonna say bump it, and I was just gonna leave it alone till later, and try and figure it out. But I was able to do it. I found a message, and they said they locked my account because they needed to verify my identity. Like we didn't do anything else. So once I logged off, there wasn't anything else done to Facebook. I don't know, y'all. But anyway, we're here. So thought I was in Facebook jail, but I'm not, y'all. So I guess they verified me. But anyway, happy Wednesday, everybody. It is November the 3rd, 2021, day 293 of year 3. Reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, another 3-year consecutive day count, day 961. I don't know why I just wrote that like that. All right, today we're reading Psalm 65 through 70. And we're going to pick up where we left off at in Shakespeare's Secret Messiah in chapter 3, page 115. I know we stopped on 116, but I said I was going to pick it up on 115 just to kind of start it back at that point where it didn't kind of break that section up, just in case you were half listening yesterday or somebody just came in today. That way they can kind of get the full gist of what was being said. Let me type this in. I have this ready. All right, y'all. Okay, so this is us. So let's go ahead and do the Shema, which is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, starting at verse 3. Hear, therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahuwah, the mighty one of our fathers, has promised us, in a land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah, our mighty one, he is one, and you shall love Yahuwah, your mighty one, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah, our mighty one, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuwah, our mighty one, as he has commanded us. All right, beautiful people. Put this in here, get that ready. Memorize it. Psalm 65. All right. Shalom, slow show. All right, y'all. YouTube. All right, y'all. Psalm 65. This is for the choir director. A song, a psalm of David. What mighty praise, O Yah, belongs to you in Zion. We fulfill our vows to you, for you answer our prayers. All of us must come to you. Though we are overwhelmed by our sins, you forgive them all. What joy for those you choose to bring near, those who live in your holy courts. What festivities await us inside your holy temple. You faithfully answer our prayers with awesome deeds. O Yahuwah, our Savior, you are the hope of everyone on earth, even those who sail on distant seas. You formed the mountains by your power and armed yourself with mighty strength. You quieted the raging oceans with their pounding waves and silenced the shouting of the nations. Those who live at the ends of the earth stand in awe of your wonders. From where the sun rises to where it sets, you inspire shouts of joy. You take care of the earth and water it, making it rich and fertile. The river of Yahuwah has plenty of water. It provides a bountiful harvest of grain, for you have ordered it so. You drench the plowed ground with rain, melting the clods and leveling the ridges. You soften the earth with showers and bless its abundant crops. You crown the year with a bountiful harvest. Even the hard pathways overflow with abundance. The grasslands of the wilderness become a lush pasture, and the hillsides blossom with joy. The meadows are clothed with flocks of sheep, and the valleys are carpeted with grain. They all shout and sing for joy. Next chapter, Psalm chapter 66. It's for the choir director, a song, a psalm. It's both. It says a song and a psalm. Okay. Shout joyful praises to you who are all the earth. Sing about the glory of his name. Tell the world how glorious he is. Say to Yahuwah, how awesome are your deeds. Your enemies cringe before your mighty power. Everything on earth will worship you. They will sing your praises, shouting your name in glorious songs. Come and see what our God has done, what awesome miracles he performs for people. He made a dry path through the Red Sea, and his people went across on foot. There we rejoice in him, for by his great power he rules forever. He watches every movement of the nations. Let no rebel rise in defiance. Let the whole world bless our God and loudly sing his praises. Our lives are in his hands, and he keeps our feet from stumbling. You have tested us, O Yah. You have purified us like silver. You captured us in your net and laid the burden of slavery on our backs. Then you put a leader over us. We went through fire and flood, but you brought us to a place of great abundance. Now, I come to your temple with burnt offerings to fulfill the vows I made to you. Yes, the sacred vows I made when I was in deep trouble. That is why I am sacrificing burnt offerings to you, the best of my rams as a pleasing aroma, as a sacrifice of bulls and male goats. Come and listen, all you who fear Yahuwah, and I will tell you what he did for me. For I cried out to him for help, praising him as I spoke. If I had not confessed the sin in my heart, Yahuwah would not have listened. But Yahuwah did listen. He paid attention to my prayer. Praise Yahuwah, who did not ignore my prayer or withdraw his unfailing love from me. Next chapter, Psalm chapter 67. For the choir director, a song, a psalm to be accompanied by stringed instruments. May Yahuwah be merciful and bless us. May his face smile with favor on us. May your ways be known throughout the earth, your saving power among people everywhere. May the nations praise you, O Yah. Yes, may all the nations praise you. Let the whole world sing for joy because you govern the nations with justice and guide the people of the whole world. May the nations praise you, O Yah. Yes, may all the nations praise you. Then the earth will yield its harvest, and Yahuwah, our God, will richly bless us. Yes, Yahuwah will bless us, and people all over the world will fear him. Psalm chapter 68 is for the choir director, a song, a psalm of David. Rise up, O Yah, and scatter your enemies. Let those who hate Yah run for their lives. Blow them away like smoke. Melt them like wax in a fire. Let the wicked perish in the presence of Yah, but let the godly rejoice. Let them be glad in Yahuwah's presence. Let them be filled with joy. Sing praises to Yahuwah and to his name. Sing loud praises to him who rides in the clouds. His name is Yahuwah. Rejoice in his presence. Father to the fatherless, defender of widows. That is Yah, whose dwelling is holy. Yahuwah places the lonely in families. He sets the prisoners free and gives them joy, but he makes the rebellious live in a sun-scorched land. O Yahuwah, when you led your people out from Egypt, when you marched through the dry wasteland, the earth trembled, and the heavens poured down rain before you, the God of Sinai, before you, O Yah, the God of Israel. You sent abundant rain, O Yah, to refresh the weary land. There your people finally settled, and with a bountiful harvest, O Yah, you provided for your needy people. Yahuwah gives the word, and a great army brings the good news. Enemy kings and their armies flee, while the women of Israel divide the plunder. Even those who lived among the sheepfolds found treasure, doves with wings of silver and feathers of gold. The Almighty scattered the enemy kings like a blowing snowstorm on Mount Zalmon. The mountains of Bashan are majestic, with many peaks stretching high into the sky. Why do you look with envy, O rugged mountains, at Mount Zion, where Yahuwah has chosen to live, where Yahuwah himself will live forever? Surrounded by unnumbered thousands of chariots, Yahuwah came from Mount Sinai into his sanctuary. When you ascended to the heights, you led a crowd of captives. You received gifts from the people, even from those who rebelled against you. Now Yahuwah, our God, will live among us there. Praise Yahuwah, our Savior, for each day he carries us in his arms. Our God is a God who saves. Yahuwah, the sovereign Lord, rescues us from death. But Yahuwah will smash the heads of his enemies, crushing the skulls of those who love their guilty ways. Yahuwah says, I will bring my enemies down from Bashan. I will bring them up from the depths of the sea. You, my people, will wash your feet in their blood, and even your dogs will get their share. Your procession has come into view, O Yah, the procession of my God and King as he goes into the sanctuary. Singers are in front, musicians behind. Between them are young women playing tambourines. Praise Yahuwah, all you people of Israel. Praise Yahuwah, the source of Israel's life. Look, the little tribe of Benjamin leads the way. Then comes a great throng of rulers from Judah and all the rulers of Zebulun and Naphtali. Summon your might, O Yah. Display your power, O Yah, as you have in the past. The kings of the earth are bringing tribute to your temple in Jerusalem. Rebuke these enemy nations, these wild animals lurking in the reeds, this herd of bulls among the weaker calves. Make them bring bars of silver in humble tribute. Scatter the nations that delight in war. Let Egypt come with gifts of precious metals. Let Ethiopia bring tribute to Yahuwah. Sing to Yahuwah, you kingdoms of the earth. Sing praises to Yahuwah. Sing to the one who rides across the ancient heavens, his mighty voice thundering from the sky. Tell everyone about Yahuwah's power. His majesty shines down on Israel. His strength is mighty in the heavens. Yahuwah is awesome in his sanctuary. The God of Israel gives power and strength to his people. Praise be to Yahuwah. Next chapter, Psalm chapter 69, Lavan Shalom. For the choir director, a psalm of David to be sung to the tune Lilies. Save me, O Yah, for the flood waters are up to my neck. Deeper and deeper, I sink into the mire. I can't find a foothold. I am in deep water, and the floods overwhelm me. I am exhausted from crying for help. My throat is parched. My eyes are swollen with weeping, waiting for my God to help me. Those who hate me without cause outnumber the hairs on my head. My enemies try to destroy me with lies, demanding that I give back what I didn't steal. Oh, Yah, you know how foolish I am. My sins cannot be hidden from you. Don't let those who trust in you be ashamed because of me. O sovereign Lord, Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies, don't let me cause them to be humiliated. O God of Israel, for I endure insults for your sake. Humiliation is written all over my face. Even my own brothers pretend they don't know me. They treat me like a stranger. Passion for your house has consumed me, and the insults of those who insult you have fallen on me. When I weep and fast, they scoff at me. When I dress in burlap to show sorrow, they make fun of me. I am the favorite topic of the town gossip, and all the drunks sing about me. But I keep praying to you, O Yah, hoping this time you will show me favor. In your unfailing love, O Yah, answer my prayer with your sure salvation. Rescue me from the mud. Don't let me sink any deeper. Save me from those who hate me and pull me from these deep waters. Don't let the floods overwhelm me, or the deep waters swallow me, or the pit of death devour me. Answer my prayers, O Yah, for your unfailing love is wonderful. Take care of me, for your mercy is so plentiful. Don't hide from your servant. Answer me quickly, for I am in deep trouble. Come and redeem me. Free me from my enemies. You know of my shame, scorn, and disgrace. You see all that my enemies are doing. Their insults have broken my heart, and I am in despair. If only one person would show some pity, if only one would turn and comfort me. But instead, they give me poison for food. They offer me sour wine for my thirst. Let the bountiful table set before them become a snare, and their prosperity become a trap. Let their eyes go blind so they cannot see, and make their bodies shake continually. Pour out your fury on them. Consume them with your burning anger. Let their homes become desolate and their tents be deserted. To the one you have punished, they add insult to injury. They add to the pain of those you have hurt. Pile their sins up high and don't let them go free. Erase their names from the book of life and don't let them be counted among the righteous. I am suffering and in pain. Rescue me, O Yah, by your saving power. Then I will praise Yahuwah's name with singing, and I will honor him with thanksgiving. For this will please Yahuwah more than sacrificing cattle, more than presenting a bull with its horns and hooves. The humble will see their God at work and be glad. Let all those who seek Yahuwah's help be encouraged. For Yahuwah hears the cries of the needy. He does not despise his imprisoned people. Praise him, O heaven and earth, the seas and all that move in them. For Yahuwah will save Jerusalem and rebuild the towns of Judah. His people will live there and settle in their own land. The descendants of those who obey him will inherit the land, and those who love him will live there in safety. Last chapter for the day, y'all. Psalm chapter 70 for the choir director, a psalm of David, asking Yahuwah to remember him. Please, Yah, rescue me. Come quickly, Yah, and help me. May those who try to kill me be humiliated and put to shame. May those who take delight in my trouble be turned back in disgrace. Let them be horrified by their shame, for they said, Aha, we've got him now. But may all who search for you be filled with joy and gladness in you. May those who love your salvation repeatedly shout, Yahuwah is great. But as for me, I am poor and needy. Please hurry to my aid, O Yah. You are my helper and my savior. O Yah, do not delay. Oh, I love that reading so much. All right, y'all, that was it. That was a really short chapter. All right, so let's go ahead and hop over here. Shayla Betwabu. Betwabu. And for those who forgot what Betwabu means, it's a greeting, recognizing that you are the house of Yah, the house of the Father, right? Okay, so page 115 of chapter 3, Titus and Andronicus. We're going to go back. We stopped on 116, but I'm going back to the beginning of page 115 because I think all of this needs to be kept together in one reading so you can kind of just follow it along. Okay. The key to understanding the play's symbolic level is Aaron. Remember, we talked about this paragraph, and he remember they they knew, they just put it in here that Aaron was a Moor, right? We kind of went over that a little bit, realizing Moor or black people, they are actually Moors or Negroes, right? There's a difference between African black people and Negro black people. All right, okay. The key to understanding the play's symbolic level is Aaron, who is described as a Moor, Moor. Though Shakespeare's use of the term Moor has often been seen as describing someone of African Negro, he has Negro in here in parentheses. Though Shakespeare's use of the term Moor has often been seen as describing someone of African Negro descent, in Elizabethan England, the word could be applied to any dark-skinned person. In the Shakespearean literature, the term is used as a euphemism for Jews. For example, Othello, Shakespeare's most famous Moor, indicated in his death soliloquy that he was a Jew by referring to himself as a base Judean and a circumcised dog. Further, Emilia Bassano's family remember, Emilia Bassano is Shakespeare. Shakespeare is a woman, that is her real name. Shakespeare is her stage name or her playwright name or her cover, right? For example, Othello, Shakespeare's most famous Moor, indicated in his death soliloquy that he was a Jew by referring to himself as a base Judean and a circumcised dog. Furthermore, Emilia Bassano's family were swarthy Moroccan Jews. Swarthy also meaning dark hue, dark complexion, black folk, right? Swarthy was used a lot in the older books like the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. It just changed over the years from swarthy then to, different terms like we have today that we hear still prevalent today, like black, African American, Negro, right? It was also swarthy. Further, Emilia Bassano's family were swarthy Moroccan Jews who were referred to as black by Gentiles. They called themselves Moors and took the mulberry tree, which is the Morus, Morus, as their family's symbol. In the case of the character Aaron, the playwright makes his Jewishness obvious by giving him the biblical name of the grandson of the founder of the priestly Levite tribe. This was the ancestral tribe of the Maccabees, the Jewish messianic family that Titus inserted himself into. To understand Aaron's role in the play's symbolic level, One must first recognize that the playwright used Josephus as a type for the character. The character's very name begins the linkage, as Josephus claimed to have been a member of the tribe of Aaron. Aaron is also described as chief architect and plotter of these woes. And that's Act 5, Scene 3, line 122, which could be only a slight exaggeration of Josephus's importance in the Roman conspiracy to create Christianity. Aaron is also like Josephus in that he became an advisor to the besiegers of a city after they had captured him. The authors of the Gospels created a typological connection between Joseph of Arimathea and Josephus Bar, yeah, read that again. Screwing the names up. The authors of the Gospels created a typological connection between Joseph of Arimathea and Josephus bar Matthias by having each of the Josephs take down from a cross someone crucified in a group of three men who miraculously survived. Moreover, Joseph of Arimathea is a pun on Joseph bar Matthias. The Gospel of Barnabas, a non canonical gospel from the Middle Ages, does not even bother with the wordplay that states that the name of the individual who took Jesus down from the cross was Joseph of Arimathea. Joseph of Arimathea is also referred to as a counselor, which was the same as Josephus's role with Titus and Aaron's role in Titus and Andronicus. The following passage from Josephus's autobiography describes how Josephus bar Matthias took the Messiah down from the cross. Quote, moreover, when the city Jerusalem was taken by force, I was sent by Titus Caesar to a certain village called Thekoa in order to know whether it were a place fit for a camp. As I came back, I saw many captives crucified and remembered three of them as my former acquaintance. I was very sorry at this in my mind and went with tears in my eyes to Titus and told him of them. So he immediately commanded them to be taken down and to have the greatest care taken of them in order to their recovery. Yet two of them died under the physician's hands, while the third recovered. End quote. That's in Josephus Vita, page 26. Knowing that the Joseph of Arimathea's actions in the Gospels foresaw Josephus bar Matthias bringing a royal child down from the cross clarifies the meaning of the following amazing passage from Titus Andronicus. This is the passage that alerted me to the hidden satire in the Shakespearean literature. Aaron continues the typology begun by Joseph of Arimathea by bringing yet another royal child down from a cross. Notice that Shakespeare makes the point that the child is to be crucified with the exact words that Paul used in describing Jesus' crucifixion, which is quoted, hanged on a tree, which can be found in Acts chapter 5, verse 30. The passage begins with Aaron and his royal child being captured and brought for judgment to Lucius, Titus's son, who has been made leader of the Goths. And this is where we actually paused yesterday, and this is where this conversation goes back and forth between Aaron and Lucius. So pay attention. Yahuwah is one shalom. Okay. Enter a Goth, and this is quote, enter a Goth leading Aaron with his child in his arms. Second Goth, okay, this is second Goth speaking. Renowned Lucius from our troops, I strayed to gaze upon a ruinous monastery. Monster, nope. Monastery. Forgive me if I screw up some of these words. They talking in the year 1600 language. Okay. Renowned Lucius, from our troops I strayed to gaze upon a ruinous monastery, and as I earnestly did fix mine eye upon the wasted building, suddenly I heard a child cry underneath a wall. I made unto the noise when I soon heard the crying babe controlled with this discourse. Peace, tawny slave, half me and half thy dam. Did not thy hue bewray whose brat thou art? Did not thy hue bewray whose brat thou art? Had nature lent thee but thy mother's look, villain, thou mightest have been an emperor. But where the bull and cow are both milk white, they never do beget a coal black calf. Peace, villain, peace. Even thus he rates the babe. For I must bear thee to a trusty Goth, who, when he knows thou art the empress's babe, will hold thee dearly for thy mother's sake. With this, my weapon drawn, I'd rushed upon him, surprised him suddenly, and brought him hither, to use as you think needful of the man. Lucius, O worthy Goth, this is the incarnate devil. Called the baby a devil. O worthy Goth, this is the incarnate devil that robbed Andronicus of his good hand. This is the pearl that pleased your empress's eye, and here's the base fruit of his burning lust. Say, wall-eyed slave, whither wouldst thou convey this growing image of thy fiend-like face? Why dost not speak? What? Deaf? Not a word? A halter. Soldiers! Hang him on this tree, and by his side his fruit of bastardy. Aaron, touch not the boy, he is of royal blood. Lucius, too like the sire for ever being good, first hang the child that he may see it sprawl, a sight to vex the father's soul withal. Give me a ladder. A ladder is brought, which Aaron is made to ascend. Aaron, Lucius, save the child, and bear it from me to the empress. If thou do this, I will show thee wondrous things that highly may advantage thee to hear. If thou wilt not, befall what may befall, I'll speak no more, but vengeance rot you all. Aaron, first know thou I begat him on the empress. Lucius, O most insatiate and lustrous woman, end quote, was taking a pause in a play. In the following lines, the author repeats the concept of trimming human limbs, creating an enigma the reader must decode. In other words, the reader must recognize that the author is typologically linking to Josephus's version of a crucifixion, which also described a trimming or a pruning. Okay, now that's the conversation about to pick back up. Aaron, Tut Lucius, this was but a deed of charity to that which thou shalt hear of me anon. 'Twas her two sons that murdered Basinius. They cut thy sister's tongue and ravished her, and cut her hands and trimmed her, as thou sawest. Remember, yesterday we found out that they raped. It was what was her name? Tamar. They raped not the Tamar from the Bible, but a different Tamar. I think it was Tamar, but the name was pretty similar. Tamar, they raped her, they cut out her tongue, and they chopped off her hands, right? Lucius, O detestable villain, callest thou that trimming? Aaron, why she was washed and cut and trimmed, and 'twas trimmed for sport for them that had the doing of it. They say she was washed. Well, we know what washed mean, right? A couple of the men washed her, or in other words, they raped her. Jeez, it Pete's. Boy, this language, this should have been X-rated stuff here. Listen, Aaron, while she was washed and cut and trimmed, and 'twas trimmed for sport for them that had the doing of it. Lucius, oh barbarous, beastly villains like thyself, Aaron, indeed, I was their tutor to instruct them. I'd play the cheater for thy father's hand, and when I had it, drew myself apart, and almost broke my heart with extreme laughter. I'd pry me through the crevice of a wall, when for his hand he had his two sons' heads, beheld his tears, and laughed so heartily that both mine eyes were rainy like to this. Lucius, bring down the devil, for he must not die so sweet a death as hanging presently. He said, oh, we ain't gonna hang you. That's too good of a death for you. We need to find something dastardly to send your soul into oblivion. I'll read that again. Lucius, bring down the devil, for he must not die so sweet a death as hanging presently. Aaron, if there be devils, would I were a devil to live and burn in everlasting fire, so I might have your company in hell, but to torment you with my bitter tongue. And that's the end of this act 5. Scene 1, lines 20 through 150. Throughout the play, Aaron inflicts one torture after another on Titus to satirically punish Titus Flavius for his crimes against the Jews. He causes his sons to be beheaded and his daughter to be raped and mutilated. Aaron even tricks Titus into letting him prune off one of his hands or cutting off one of his hands. I remember that from yesterday too. Jeez, it peaks. Aaron even tricks Titus into letting him prune off one of his hands by claiming that by doing so, he will win the release of his sons. In the following passage, Titus watches helplessly as his sons are led off to be beheaded, a plight that Titus Flavius handed to many Jews. Like, so, bro, I cut my hand off so my sons could live, and then you still take them to behead them? Like, bro, you should have kept both your hands. At least you had two hands to fight with. Why they trying to kill you? But okay, that was just my thoughts. In the following passage, Titus watches helplessly as his sons are led off to be beheaded, a plight that Titus Flavius handed to so many Jews. Quote, enter judges, senators, and tribunes, with Marcius and Quintus bound, passing on to the place of execution, Titus going before pleading. So it's like the narration of this scene, what's happening. They entering in with the sons in handcuffs. Yes. You can get some cake in a minute, but don't try and cut that right now. We'll cut it when I'm done after you end the video, okay? Okay. Titus. Yeah, we'll get you some ice cream too. Titus Andronicus, hear me, grave fathers, noble tribunes, stay, for pity of mine age, whose youth was spent in dangerous wars, whilst you securely slept, for all my blood in Rome's great quarrel shed, for all the frosty nights that I have watched, and for these bitter tears which you now see filling the aged wrinkles in my cheeks. Be pitiful to my condemned sons, whose souls are not corrupted as 'tis thought. For 22 sons I never wept, because they died in honor's lofty bed. And then it says, lieth down the judges and see, comma, pass by him and exuent. O reverend, O reverend tribunes, O gentle aged men, unbind my sons, reverse the doom of death, and let me say that never what before, my tears are now prevailing orators. End quote. That's Act 3, Scene 1, lines 1 through 26. Titus then finds out, just as his namesake did the Jewish Messiah, that his daughter has been pruned, that is, her arms and tongue have been cut off. Enters Marcus and Lavinia. Marcus Andronicus, Titus, prepare thy aged eyes to weep, or if not so, thy noble heart to break. I bring consuming sorrow to thine age. Titus Andronicus, will it consume me? Let me see it then. Marcus Andronicus, this was thy daughter. Titus Andronicus, why, Marcus, so is she. Lucius, me, this object kills me. Titus Andronicus, faint-hearted boy, arise and look upon her. Speak, Lavinia, what accursed hand hath made these handless hath made thee handless in thy father's sight? What fool hath added water to the sea, or brought a faggot to bright burning Troy? My grief was at the height before thou camest, and now, like Nilus, it disdaineth bounds. Give me a sword, I'll chop off my hands too, for they have fought for Rome, and all in vain, and they have nursed this woe in feeding life. In bootless prayer have they been held up, and they have served me to the effectless use. Now all the service I require of them is that the one will help to cut the other. Tis well, Lavinia, Lavinia, not Tamar, it was Lavinia. Tis well, Lavinia, that thou hast no hands, for hands to do Rome's service are but vain. Lucius, speak, gentle sister, who hath martyred thee? Marcus Andronicus, oh, that the delightful engine of her thoughts, that blabbed them with such pleasing eloquence, is torn forth from that pretty, hollow cage, where, like a sweet, melodious bird, it sung sweet, varied notes, enchanting every ear. Lucius, oh, say thou for her who have done this deed, like he had to go into all this detail to say, look, bro, she ain't got no tongue. She ain't gonna be able to tell you. But if only if you could read her thoughts, though, she'd rat them out. He said, well, just tell me who did it then. I'm gonna start over. Lucius, speak, gentle sister, who hath martyred thee? Marcus Andronicus, oh, that delightful engine of her thoughts, that blabbed them with such pleasing eloquence, is torn forth from that pretty hollow cage. He called her face a pretty hollow cage. Whew, let me keep reading. Oh, that delightful engine of her thoughts, that blabbed them with such pleasing eloquence, is torn from forth that pretty hollow cage, where, like the sweet melodious bird, it sung sweet varied notes, enchanting every ear. Lucius, oh, say thou for her who have done this deed. Marcus Andronicus, oh, thus I found her straying in the park, seeking to hide herself as doth the deer that hath received some unrecurring wound. Titus Andronicus, it was my dear that he and I'm sorry, it was my dear, and he that wounded her hath hurt me more than he had killed me dead. For now I stand as one upon a rock, environed with a wilderness of sea, who marks the waxing tide grow wave by wave, expecting ever when some envious surge will in his British bowels swallow him. This way to death my wretched sons are gone. Here stands my other son, a banished man, and here my brother weeping at my woes. But that which gives my soul the greatest spurn is dear Lavinia, dearer than my soul. Had I but seen thy picture in this plight, it would have maddened me. What shall I do? Now I behold thy lively body so. Thou hast no hands to wipe away thy tears, nor a tongue to tell me who hath martyred thee. Thy husband is a dead. I'm sorry. Thy husband, he is dead, and for his death thy brothers are condemned, and dead by this. Look, Marcus, son of Lucius, look on her. When I did name her brothers, then fresh tears stood on her cheeks, as doth the honeydew upon a gathered lily almost withered. Marcus Andronicus, perhaps she weeps because they killed her husband, perchance because she knows them innocent. End quote. And that's Act 3, Scene 1, lines 59 through 115. They cut off her hand so she couldn't write it out after they cut her tongue out, right? But maybe her mouth was too sore, you know, to take the pen or whatever it was. I would have been, I would have told them who did it. Or well, she might not have known where they live, or she might have been illiterate and didn't know how to spell the name. Let me keep reading. The above passage, like many in Shakespeare's works, uses Ovid's story of Philomel as a metaphor for the fact that Titus Flavius raped the Jews and took away their tongue, that is, their ability to tell posterity what the Romans had done to them and their religion. In Ovid's story, Philomel was raped and then had her tongue cut out by her attacker so she could not identify him. She therefore wove a tapestry that told the story of her rape and revealed her attacker. Go ahead, girl. Now, just we hope we got somebody who can read clothing. I play too much. Since Philomel gained her revenge by cooking the child born out of his assault and then serving him to her rapist, Ovid's story works perfectly for someone wishing to reverse the cannibalism satire of the Gospels. Thus, after having her tongue and hands cut off by her rapist, Lavinia, like Philomel, uses her mouth and feet to. Okay, look. Okay, look. Okay, look. I know I ain't tripping. All right. So maybe I don't play too much. Hold on, look. Read this again. Since Philomel gained her revenge by cooking the child born out of his assault and then serving him to her rapist, Ovid's story works perfectly for someone wishing to reverse the cannibalism satire of the Gospels. Thus, after having her tongue and hands cut off by her rapist, Lavinia, like Philomel, uses her mouth and feet to control a stick and write her attackers' names in the sand. So she wasn't illiterate, right? Okay, sis had a little bit. Okay. The playwright makes the reference to Philomel obviously by having Lavinia turn the pages of Ovid with. They play too much. Look. The playwright makes the reference to Philomel obvious by having Lavinia turn the pages of Ovid with her stumps until she reaches the correct story. The playwright is explicitly inviting the reader to make a typological parallel between Lavinia. I'm sorry, y'all. Some words just send me reeling in laughter because I be imagining all of this. The scene, y'all probably can't see what's going on in my head that I'm laughing at, but I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna read the sentence again because it was funny. The playwright makes the reference to Philomel obvious by having Lavinia turn the pages of Ovid with her stumps until she reaches the correct story. The playwright is explicitly inviting the reader to make a typological parallel between Lavinia and Philomel and goes on to mention the need to look at the movements in sequence patterned by that the poet here describes. The playwright's reference to patterns refers to the parallel sequence of events between Jesus and Titus's ministries, which she knew would be comprehensible to the reader once the satire in the Gospels was made known. Imagery linked to Ovid's character Philomel is used throughout the works of Shakespeare and salve Deus to symbolize the truth as Emilia saw it. Remember, Amelia is Shakespeare, right? Her religion had been raped and muted and could not speak this truth plainly. She therefore created her work as a tapestry that revealed through art what could not be stated plainly and that portrayed her enemy. And I'm sorry. She therefore created her work as a tapestry that revealed through art what could not be stated plainly and that portrayed her enemy's cannibalizing themselves. Excuse me. The following statement by Titus, made after he has discovered that his daughter has been trimmed. That it just, oh, you know what? That is going to stick in my mind. Like it's horrible, right? To say people without limb that people lose limbs different ways, but to look at them as being trimmed like they were trees, I'm just, I don't know. It baffles me sometimes the way they spoke. It's like that's more that's not politically correct. The following statement by Titus, made after he has discovered that his daughter has been trimmed, is a direct communication from the playwright to the informed reader. Quote, what shall we do? Let us have our tongues, plot some device of further misery to make us wonder at in time to come. End quote. That's Act 3, Scene 1, lines 134 through 136. This is an important statement from Titus that clearly shows that Emilia Bassano, or Shakespeare, understood Titus Flavius's reason for creating the Gospels. Titus had a tongue, the ability to write history, and plotted some further misery, the humiliation of the Jews he believed would happen after its satirical level was understood, from the express purpose of making posterity wonder at him. The context at the statement the context that the statement is wait a minute the context that the statement is made, Titus's misery after learning that his daughter has suffered the fate of the Jewish Messiah, shows Emilia's desire, or Shakespeare's desire, to prevent Titus from obtaining the posthumous I'm sorry posthumous glory he sought. Following Titus's discovery of what has happened to his daughter, Aaron appears and tells Titus what the emperor that the emperor will pardon his sons if Titus cuts off his hands and sends it to him. Aaron is lying, of course, and no such deal has been struck. The playwright then arranges for Aaron to be the one to deliver the blow that cuts off Titus's hand, thus creating a perfect reversal of the gospel's satire, wherein Titus pruned the Messiah of the family of Aaron. In this version of the story, Aaron is not the one who is pruned, but instead he takes an eye for an eye as instructed by the Hebrew Bible. And this is okay, so this is going to go back and forth for a little bit between Aaron, Titus, Lucius, Tamora. A clown hops in the conversation. Like seriously, it says clown. Saturnus, a Goth. Okay. Oh, this is a long conversation. Where we at? Oh, 53 minutes. I wonder if I can get. Oh, okay. So this conversation goes on to the end of the chapter. Yes, babe. In a few days. Okay, because it's not like full page, we're gonna just go ahead and read this full conversation, y'all, to the end of the chapter. So we should be done about 10 minutes, maybe a little less than that. Mom, shalom, shalom. Okay. In this version of the story, Aaron is not the one who is pruned, but instead he takes an eye for an eye as instructed by the Hebrew Bible. Quote, and here's where it goes. Aaron enters. Aaron, Titus Andronicus, my lord the emperor, sends thee this word, that if thou love thy sons, let Marcus, Lucius, or thyself, old Titus, or any one of you, chop off your hand and send it to the king, for he for the same will send thee hither both thy sons alive, and that shall be the ransom for their faults. Titus Andronicus, O gracious emperor, O gentle Aaron, did ever raven sing so like a lark that gives sweet tidings of the sun's uprise? With all my heart, I'll send the emperor my hand. Good Aaron, wilt thou help to chop it off? Lucius, stay, father, for that noble hand of thine that hath thrown down so many enemies shall not be sent. My hand will serve the turn. My youth can better spare the blood than you, and therefore mine shall save my brothers' lives. Marcus Andronicus, which of your hands hath not defended Rome, and reared aloft the bloody battle axe, writing destruction on the enemy's castle? Oh, none, both but are but oh, none of both, but are of high desert or high desert. Hold on. Oh, none of both, but are of high desert. My hand hath been but idle. Let it serve to ransom my two nephews from their death. Then have I kept it to a worthy end. Aaron, nay, come agree whose hand shall go along, for fear they die before their pardon come. Marcus Andronicus, my hand shall go. Lucius, by heaven, it shall not go. Titus Andronicus, sirs, strive no more. Such withered herbs as these are meet for plucking up, and therefore mine. They so dumb. Lucius, sweet father, if I shall be thought thy son, let me redeem my brothers both from death. Marcus Andronicus, and for our father's sake and mother's care, now let me show a brother's love to thee. Titus Andronicus, agree between you, I will spare my hand. Lucius, then I'll go fetch an axe. Marcus Andronicus, but I will use the axe. Exeunt, exeunt Lucius, eh, Lucius and Marcus leave out the room. Titus and Andronicus, come hither, Aaron. I'll deceive them both. Lend me thy hand, and I will give thee mine. Aaron, aside, if that be called deceit, I will be honest, and never whilst I live deceive men so, but I'll deceive you in another sort, and that you will say, hath an hour passed. Cuts off Titus's hand. Lucius and Marcus come back in the room. Titus and Andronicus, now stay your strife. What shall be is dispatched. Good Aaron, give his majesty my hand. Tell him it was a hand that warded him from thousand dangers. Bid him bury it, more hath it merited that let it have. As for my sons, say I account of them as jewels purchased at an easy price, and yet dear too, because I bought my own. Aaron, I go, Andronicus, and for thy hand. Look by and by to have thy sons with thee. Aside. Their heads, I mean. Oh, how this villainy doth fate me with the very thoughts of it. Let fools do good and fair men call for grace. Aaron will have his soul black like his face. Exit. Titus Andronicus. Oh, here I lift up this one hand to heaven and bow this feeble ruin to earth. If any power pities wretched tears, to that I call. And that's Act 3, Scene 1, lines 150 through 208. The following passage has been seen as one of Shakespeare's puzzles, but is simply a spoof of which the fool mistakes Titus for Titus Flavius, which is the exact understanding that the playwright is trying to get the reader to come to. As the clown believes he is speaking with Titus Flavius, he must also believe that Titus is referring to the Gospels. He refers to Titus as a gibbet maker because Titus Flavius was a gibbet maker or cross maker. Titus indeed crucified thousands of Jews, including his literary creation, Jesus. Another incoherent aspect of the passage that is now sensible is the clown's statement that the gibbet maker says that he have taken them down again because the man must not be hanged until next week. The clown is simply continuing his confusion by comically mistaking the royal child who will be hung on a tree later in Titus Andronicus with those already taken down from the cross in other stories, i.e., the Gospels and Wars of the Jews. Titus, for his part, is convinced that the fool is carrying a message from Jupiter, that is, God Himself, while the fool thinks his mission has something to do with a brawl involving his uncle. Notice the explanatory power of the thesis. This seemingly incoherent dialogue is rendered comprehensible by the understanding it is playing off Titus's invention of Christianity. Quote, Titus Andronicus. We will solicit heaven and move the gods to send down justice for to wreak our wrongs. Come to this gear. You are a good archer, Marcus. He gives them the arrows. Add Jovim, that's for you. Here. Add Apollinem. Add Martine, that's for myself. Here, boy, to Pallas. Here, to Mercury. To Saturn, Caius, not to Saturnine. You were as good to shoot against the wind. To it, boy, Marcus, loose when I bind. Of my word I have written to effect, there is not a god left unsolicited. Marcus, kinsman, shoot all your shafts into the court. We will afflict the emperor in his pride. Titus Andronicus, now, masters, draw. They shoot. Oh, well said, Lucius. Good boy. In Virgo's lap. Give it to Pallas. Marcus, my lord, I aim a mile beyond the moon. Your letter is with Jupiter by this. And that's Act 6, no, Act 4. Scene 3, lines 51 through 67. A clown enters with a basket and 2 pigeons in it. Titus Andronicus, news from heaven. Marcus, the post has come. Sirrah, what tidings? Have you any letters? Shall I have justice? What says Jupiter? Clown, ho, the gibbet maker. He says that he have taken them down again, for the man must not be hanged until next week. Titus Andronicus, but what says Jupiter, I ask thee? Clown, alas, sir, I know not Jupiter. I never drank with him in all my life. Act 4, Scene 3, lines 77 through 86. Titus's instruction below to the clown to deliver a supplication is also consistent with this comic theme. In ancient Rome, a supplication was a religious document notifying of a military success. It was a synonym for gospel, meaning the good news of a military victory. The fool is thus bringing Titus's gospels to the emperor. Notice above that Titus says he will be at hand when the clown delivers the supplication. Within the play's symbolic framework, he will be at hand because he is the character Jesus in the gospels, which will be contained within the clown's hand. Conversation goes on. Titus Andronicus, why, villain, art not thou the carrier? Of my pigeons, sir, nothing else. Titus Andronicus, why didst thou not come from heaven? Clown, from heaven? Alas, sir, I never came there. God forbid I should be so bold to press to heaven in my young days. Why, I am going with my pigeons to the tribunal plebs to take up a matter of brawl betwixt my uncle and one of the emperor's men. Marcus, why, sir, that is as fit as can be served for your oration, and let him deliver the pigeons to the emperor from you. Titus Andronicus, tell me, can you deliver an oration to the emperor with grace? Clown, nay, truly, sir, I could never say grace in all my life. Titus Andronicus, Sirrah, come hither. Make no more ado, but give your pigeons to the emperor. By me thou shalt have justice at his hands. Hold, hold. Meanwhile, here's money for thy charges. Give me pen and ink. Sirrah, can you with a grace deliver a supplication? Clown. Sir. Titus Andronicus. Then here's a supplication for you, and when you come to him at the first approach, you must kneel, then kiss his foot, then deliver up your pigeons, and then look for your reward. I'll be at hand, sir. See you do it bravely. Act 4, no, yeah. Act 4, Scene 3, lines 87 through 113. The playwright continues the parody of the Flavian invention of Christianity by having the clown bring two pigeons to the emperor. The clown tells Saturninus that God, that is, Titus, and Saint Stephen say hello. The clown brings the two pigeons to indicate that the Messiah, Aaron's child, has been born, since the Gospels in Luke chapter 2, verse 24 state that when the Messiah was born, the law required that two pigeons be sacrificed. Boy, they get so detailed in these shenanigans. Yo, this conversation picks back up tomorrow. How now, good fellow? Wouldst thou speak with us? Clown, yea, forsooth, and your mistership be emperor. Tomorrow, empress I am, but yonder sits the emperor. Clown, 'tis he. God and Saint Stephen give you good den or good day. I have brought you a letter and a couple of pigeons here. Saturnus reads the letter. Saturnus, go, take him away and hang him presently. Clown, how much money must I have? Tomorrow, come, Sarah, you must be hanged. Clown, hang by a lady, then I have brought up a neck to a fair end. And that's the end of that conversation. That's Act 4, Scene 4, lines 39 through 50. The clown gives a salutation in the passage above from God because the fool believes that Titus is Jesus. The fool is executed because the emperor, understandably, is displeased to receive a gospel in which Titus claims to be God. The play continues with its most obvious reversal of the gospel's satire. The scene in which Titus fools not the Jewish royal family, but the Gentile nobility into eating human flesh. This passage completes Aaron's triumph over the Gentiles, including not only Titus and the Roman royals, but also Tamora the Goth and by her two sons. Aaron has already humiliated Saturnus by seducing and impregnating Tamora in a reenactment of Josephus's parody of the Annunciation. Aaron, as a type of Joseph of Arimathea, confirmed that this child was a Messiah by bringing the child down from the cross. Now, at this feast, some Gentiles are served as pie, while others are hacked to pieces. However, one individual surprisingly survives the carnage, the son of Aaron, the new Moorish, that is, Jewish, introduction into the Roman royal family. The royal child has been inserted into the Gentiles' royal lineage to complete the reversal of the Roman satire in the Gospels, whereby Caesar inserted himself into the Jews' messianic lineage. We can only conjecture whether this depiction of a Jew inserted into the royal family of the Gentiles represents a wishful fantasy by Emilia Bassano or Shakespeare, or whether she was depicting a real organization that tried to gain control over the Gentiles by secretly planting crypto Jews in positions of authority. However, it is interesting to note both the similarities and the differences between Marlowe and Shakespeare in their treatment of their Jewish protagonists. In both cases, the surface presentation is of unremitting and unrepentant evil on the part of the Moor, giving an impression that both authors are anti Semitic and thus compliant to the political pressures of their times. But while Marlowe's Barabbas is boiled and metaphorically cannibalized in the end, Aaron is merely to be burned alive, but with no cannibalistic references, and the survival of his child represents the ultimate success of Aaron's dramatic reversal of the Flavian comic system. And this is the last conversation, and it goes to the end. It goes to the end. Probably about 5 more minutes, y'all. Enter Lucius, Marcus, and Goths with Aaron prisoner. Lucius, Uncle Marcus, since it is my father's mind that I repair to Rome, I am content. First Goth, and ours with thine befall what fortune will. Lucius, good uncle, Take you in this barbarous Moor, this ravenous tiger, this accursed devil. Let him receive no sustenance. Fetter him till he be brought unto the empress' face, for testimony of her foul proceedings, and see the ambush of our friends be strong. I fear the emperor means no good to us. Aaron, some devil whisper curses in my ear, and prompt me that my tongue may utter forth the venomous malice of my swelling heart. Lucius, away, inhuman dog, unhallowed slave, sir, help our uncle to convey him in. Exit Goths with Aaron, flourish within. The trumpets show the emperor is at hand. Saturnus and Tamora enters with Aemilius, tribunes, senators, and others. Saturnus, what hath the firmament more sons than one? I'm sorry, no. What hath the firmament more sons than one? Lucius, what boots it thee to call thyself a son? Now, when it says son here, it's not son S-O-N. They're using sun S-U-N, like the sun we see in the sky. What hath the firmament more sons than one? Lucius, what booted to tell thee to call thyself a son? Marcus Andronicus, Rome's emperor and nephew break the parle. These quarrels must be quietly debated. The feast is ready, which the careful Titus hath ordained to an honorable end. For peace, for love, for league, and good to Rome. Excuse me. Please you, therefore, draw nigh and take your places. Saturnus, Marcus, we will. Hot boys sound. The company sit down at the table. Enter Titus, dressed like a cook, Lavinia veiled, and young Lucius and others. Titus places the dishes on a table. Titus Andronicus, welcome, my gracious lord. Welcome, dread queen. Welcome, ye warlike Goths. Welcome, Lucius, and welcome all that cheer be poor. 'Twill fill your stomachs. Please you eat of it. Saturnus, what art thou thus attired, Andronicus? Titus Andronicus, because I would be sure to have all will to entertain your highness and your empress. Tomorrow we are beholding to you, good Andronicus. Titus Andronicus, and if your highness knew my heart, you were. My lord the emperor, resolve me this. Was it well done of rash Virginus to slay his daughter with his own right hand because she was enforced, stained, and deflowered? Saturnus, it was, Andronicus. Titus Andronicus, your reason, mighty lord? Saturnus, because the girl should not survive her shame and by her presence still renew his sorrows. Titus Andronicus, a reason mighty, strong, and effectual, a pattern, precedent, and lively warrant for me most wretched to perform the like. Die, Lavinia, and thy shame with thee. And he kills Lavinia. Sheesh. And with thy shame, thy father's sorrow dies. So he felt that his father's sorrow would be put to an end if he didn't have to see his daughter like this anymore. I mean, I can understand that, but geez, she was only missing hands and a tongue. He kills Lavinia, and with thy shame, thy father's sorrow die. Saturnus, what hast thou done? Unnatural and unkind. Titus Andronicus, killed her for whom many tears have made me blind. Like I had to kill her. It was make me blind and look at this side. I need to hurry up and finish reading. Okay. Let me stop, y'all. Let me stop and get serious about this. Titus Andronicus, killed her for whom my tears have made me blind. I am as woeful as Virginus was, and have 1,000 times more cause than he to do this outrage, and it now is done. Saturnus, what? Was she ravished? Tell who did the deed. Andronicus, wilt you please eat? Wilt please your highness feed? Tomorrow. Mommy. Yes, babe. Okay. Why hast thou slain thine only daughter thus? Titus Andronicus, not I, 'twas Charon, and Demetrius. They ravished her and cut away her tongue, and twas they that did her all this wrong. Saturnus, go fetch them hither to us presently. Titus and Andronicus. Why, there they both there why, there they are both baked in that pie, whereof their mother daintily hath fed, eating the flesh that she herself hath bred. 'Tis true. Witness my knife's sharp point. And he kills Tamora. They have no this whew. I'm glad I wasn't alive back then. Saturnus, die, frantic wretch, for this accursed deed. Then they killed Titus. Lucius, can thy son's eye behold his father's bleed? There is meed for meed, death for a deadly deed. So they just killing everybody, and they just keep killing, so you don't have to live with the thoughts that we killed your child and you seen it, right? So they just killing everybody, right? So nobody have to suffer anymore. Sheesh. Lucius, can the son's eye behold his father bleed? There is meed for meed, death for a deadly deed. Maybe that's gonna be our title today. That people gonna be like, what the crap did she say? Then he kills Saturnus, a great tumult. Lucius, Marcus, and others go up into the balcony. Marcus Andronicus, you sad faced men, people and sons of Rome, by uproar severed like a flight of fowl, scattered by wings and high tempestuous gusts. Oh, let me teach you how to knit again this scattered corn into one mutual sheaf, these broken limbs again into one body, lest Rome herself be bane unto herself, and she whom mighty kingdoms curtsy to like a forlorn and desperate castaway, do shameful execution on herself. But if my frosty signs and chaps of age, grave witnesses of true experience, cannot induce you to attend my words, to Lucius, speak, Rome's dear friend, as earnest our I'm sorry. Speak, Rome's dear friend, as erst our ancestor, when this his solemn tongue he did discourse, to love sick Dido's sad attending ear the story of that baleful burning night when subtle Greeks surprised King Priam's Troy. Tell us what Sinon hath bewitched our ears, or who hath brought the fatal engine in that gives our Troy, our Rome, the civil wound. My heart is not compact of flint nor steel, nor can I utter all our bitter grief, but floods of tears will drown my oratory and break my utterance, even in the time when it should move you to attend me most, lending your kind commiseration. Here is a captain. Let him tell a tale. Your hearts will throb and weep to hear him speak. Lucius, then noble auditory, be it known to you that cursed Chiron and Demetrius were they that murdered our emperor's brother, and they it were that ravished our sister. For their fell faults our brothers were beheaded, our fathers' tears despised, and basely cousin of that true hand that fought Rome's quarrel out, and sent her enemies, excuse me, unto the grave. Lastly, myself unkindly banished, the gates shut on me, and turned weeping out to beg relief among Rome's enemies, who drowned their enmity in my true tears, and opened their arms to embrace me as a friend. I am the turned forth, be it known to you, that have preserved her welfare in my blood, and from her bosom took the enemy's point, sheathing the steel in my adventurous body. Alas, you know I am no vaunter. My scars can witness, dumb although they are, that my report is just and full of truth. But soft, methinks, I do digress too much, citing my worthless praise. Oh, pardon me, for when no friends are by, men praise themselves. End quote. And that's Act 5, Scene 3, lines 1 through 117. At this point, the child of Aaron, which must be remembered is the name of the Jews' Maccabean Messianic lineage recorded in the Dead Sea Scrolls. All right, babe.
Call me after you finish this.
Okay. All right, son. Y'all be safe. Love y'all. All right, y'all. We almost done. Okay, we almost done, y'all. At this point, the child of Aaron, which must be remembered is the name of the Jews' Maccabean Messianic lineage recorded in the Dead Sea Scrolls, is introduced. His appearance is subtle and its meaning can only be understood in the context of the play being a reversal of the Gospel's typology. The Jewish child is now inside the Gentiles' royal lineage, just as Caesar had done to the Jews in the Gospel. The point is, that child will eventually rise to the throne. Quote, Marcus Andronicus, now is my turn to speak. Behold this child, pointing to the child in the arms of an attendant. Of this was tomorrow delivered the issue of an irreligious Moor. There's a black baby. We know who did it, right? Look. Of this 'twas tomorrow delivered the issue of an irreligious Moor, chief architect and plotter of these woes. The villain. Girl, what is you doing with my plant? Just sit on the floor. Sit right down on the floor. I'm trying to get this out of the freezer. Watch behind you. Okay. Chief architect and plotter of these woes. The villain is alive in Titus's house. And as he is to witness this is true. I don't know, y'all. I just giggle. Y'all, I know y'all, all y'all done seen the movie Life with Martin and not with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy. When I was just reading this part, it said of this was the more delivered the issue of an irreligious Moor. I thought about that scene where they was standing out there in front of the little jailhouse, and the master's daughter had just been delivered of a baby. He said, "Who?" Somebody said this blackety baby. And but that's the whole scene that popped in my head about this. As the pappy of this was tomorrow delivered. The issue of an irreligious Moor, chief architect and plotter of these woes. The villain is alive in Titus's house, and as he is to witness this is true. Now the judge, yes, I told you to wait. Now you're trying to open it. Now judge what cause had Titus to revenge these wrongs unspeakably past patience, or more than any living man could bear. Now you have heard the truth. What say you, Romans? What have we done aught amiss? Show us wherein, and from the place where you behold us now, the poor remainder of Andronicus will, you're welcome, hand in hand, all headlong cast us down, and on the ragged stones beat forth our brains, and make a mutual closure of our house. Speak, Romans, speak, and if you say we shall, lo, hand in hand, Lucius and I will fall. Emilius, come now, thou reverent man of Rome, and bring our emperor gently in thy hand. Lucius, our emperor, for well I know the common voice do cry, it shall be so. All hail, no, Lucius, all hail, Rome's royal emperor, Marcus Andronicus. Go into Titus's sorrowful house to attendance, and hither hail that misbelieving Moor to be adjudged some direful slaughtering death as punishment for his most wicked life. All the attendants exit. Lucius, Marcus, and the others descend. All, Lucius, all hail Rome's gracious governor. Lucius, thanks, gentle Romans. May I govern so, to heal Rome's arms and wipe away her woe. But gentle people, give me aim a while, for nature puts me to a heavy task. Stand all aloof, but uncle, draw you near, to shed obsequious tears upon this trunk. Oh, take this warm kiss on thy pale, cold lips. Kissing Titus. These sorrowful drops upon thy blood-stained face, the last true duties of thy noble son, Marcus Andronicus, tear for tear and loving kiss for kiss, thy brother Marcus tenders on thy lips. O were the sum of these that I should pay, countless and infinite, yet would I pay them. Lucius, come hither, boy, come, and learn of us. To melt in showers, thy grandsire loved thee well. Many a time he danced thee on his knee, sung thee asleep, his loving breast thy pillow. Many a matter hath he told thee, meet and agreeing with thine infancy. In that respect, then, like a loving child, shed yet some small drops from thy tender spring, because kind nature doth require it so. Friends should associate friends in grief and woe. Bid him farewell, commit him to the grave, do him that kindness, and take leave of him. Young Lucius, oh grandsire, even with all my heart, would I were dead, so you did live again. O Lord, I cannot speak of him for weeping. My tears would choke me if I opened my mouth. Re-enters the attendants with Aaron. Emilius, you sad Andronacy, have done with woes. Give sentence to this execrable wretch that hath been breeder of these dire events. Lucius, set him breast deep in earth and famish him. There let him stand and rave and cry for food. If anyone relieves or pities him for the offenses, he dies. This is our doom. Some stay to see him fastened into the earth. Aaron, oh, why should wrath be mute and fury dumb? I am no baby. I, that with these base prayers I should repent of the evils I have done. 10,000 worse than I ever 10,000 worse than ever yet I did, would I perform if I might have my will. If one good deed in all my life I did, I do repent of it from my very soul. Aaron was terrible. Lucius, this is the last couple sentences, y'all. Lucius, some loving friends convey the emperor hence and give him burial in his father's grave. My father and Lavinia shall forthwith be closed in our household's monument. As for that hideous tiger tomorrow, no funeral rite, nor man mourning weeds, no mournful bell shall ring her burial, but throw her forth to beasts and birds of prey. Her life was beast like and devoid of pity, and being so, shall have the like want of pity. See justice done on Aaron, that damned Moor, by whom our heavy haps had their beginning, then afterward to order the well state, that like events may never it ruinate. And they exit. And that end quote, and that's the end of Act 5, Scene 3, lines 118 through 199. Amelia Bassano's understanding of the Flavian typology. Here was in my ice cream. Oh, you gotta be careful. Let me double check that. Amelia Bassano's understanding of the Flavian typology was eventually passed on to certain Jewish groups. Julia Taymor, the Jewish director of the 1994 film adaptation of Titus Andronicus, chose to conclude the play with a scene of the blonde-haired Lucius carrying the dark-skinned child of Aaron into a bright future. Such a departure from the play's script could only have been selected by someone who understood the play's symbolic level. And that, my beautiful people, is the end of our reading and the end of chapter 3. Chapter 4 is entitled Emilio Bassano. So this whole chapter is going through the details of Shakespeare, right? All right, so I hope y'all enjoyed the reading today. I know this is the longest video, extra 30 minutes that we've done in a while, but I wanted to finish that little scene. All right, y'all. So that being said, thanks for hanging out. If you got to go to work, get on out of here. Bye. It is Wednesday, November the 3rd, 2021, day 293 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets under the 3-year consecutive day count. It's day 961. We read Psalms chapter 65 through 70, and we read Shakespeare's Secret Messiah, the rest of chapter 3 from pages 115 all the way to page 141. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and do the blessing so we can get out of here. Remember, the blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. Remember, the first 21 verses of Numbers chapter 6 is the Nazirite vow. Man or woman can take it.
Mom?
Yes, babe.
I was eating my ice cream.
Okay. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron. When I hear the name Aaron now, this whole reversal story just got me looking upside down. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yahuwah will kneel before us, presenting gifts, and will guard us with a hedge of protection. Yahuwah will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards us, bringing order, and he will provide us with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahuwah will lift up his wholeness of being and look upon us, and he will set in place all we need to be whole and complete. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people.
Mom?
That's it. I
Mom.
love y'all. See y'all tomorrow, bright and early.
You didn't put my name in it.
You got ice cream and cake on the side of your lips. And we shall put Yahuwah's name upon Bella, and Yahuwah will bless you. All right. See y'all tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. All right, Teddy, go ahead and end it right now.
Her?
End it. Go ahead. All right, it's done.
I didn't hit.
Yeah, I know. See, something changed. Y'all, Facebook has done some kind of update because it locked me out my account. It locked me, and they wanted me to do some updates. So apparently, I don't know. I've just been ignoring whatever, so they locked my account.
This.
Yeah, I know that didn't show up, so I'm gonna need to check and see if they even post the video today. Okay, it's there. Okay, all right, go ahead, end the stream. All right, y'all.